CNBC's Alex Sherman confirming earlier reports of merger talk now between Warner Brothers Discovery and rival Paramount. Both stocks dropping on the news. Let's bring in Lightshed Partners co-founder Rich Greenfield. Rich, you've been saying Paramount needs to find Gesundheit, whoever sneezed over there. needs a buyer. And that was a sneeze from NASDAQ. You've been saying that Paramount needs a buyer and that legacy media's streaming playbook is not sustainable. Talk us through the logic behind this one and why Paramount seems so eager now to put itself on the block.
You're assuming that it's not just Paramount that's eager. I think this entire sector is facing really an existential crisis, right? I mean, linear TV is never getting better. Advertising is in secular decline. Cord cutting is worse than these companies expected. Streaming losses are in the billions. I think this is really sort of an aha moment, inflection point, watershed moment, you would call it, for the entire industry, where they're realizing there is no growth. They are in secular decline mode. And you're sort of seeing, you know, it's almost like when in that movie scene where everyone's like got their hands up in the air and they're screaming, running around in circles. They don't know what to do. And so I think you've got a ton of bankers. You've seen Disney throw out, hey, we're selling linear TV. Then no, they're not. We're trying to get out of Hulu. Maybe we'll buy Hulu. Now you're seeing BET. We'll sell that. Maybe we won't. We'll merge with Warner Brothers Discovery. Like, there is just nonstop merger. And I think all of that raises one massive question. How bad are numbers for Q4 for this industry, these companies, and what does next year look like? I mean, we've already seen Warner Brothers Discovery numbers. Originally, when they announced the merger between Warner and Discovery, they were looking at $14 billion of EBITDA in 2023. They're going to come in supposedly between $10.5 and $11 billion. We'll see whether that can grow next year. But I wonder whether the reason we're seeing merger talk is not just that Paramount's balance sheet is stretched, but that the entire industry, all of these companies are realizing next year is going to be a heck of a lot tougher. There are no green shoots in TV advertising. It is never, ever getting better. And I think that's probably why. The problem, though, as you said, putting these companies together doesn't fix the problem. Putting more linear TV and linear TV still makes a tough, challenging business, which is why the stocks went down today.
Before I slit my wrists at your predictions for the business that we happen to work in, I was thinking exact same thing. How does this make it better if you take two kind of legacy operators and you smush them together? Why wouldn't one or both of them be running to somebody else out there? You know who I'm talking about in tech.
But let's stop. First of all, don't slit your wrists.
Okay.
There is many years. Margins are going to contract. The business is going to get tougher, but it isn't that bad. It's just going to be a declining story. But I think the real answer is putting companies together is not the right answer. That is not fixing the problem. The problem is they can't compete with Netflix. They need to stop. They need to shut down these streaming services or scale them back dramatically. That's what we put out. We wrote a big piece yesterday that the streaming strategies of these companies is flawed. We thought they could go all in and compete. They can't. Now it's time, with balance sheets stretched, financials, profitability in decline. These companies need to change course and do it immediately. I don't think putting one and one together doesn't get you more. Look at what's happened to WBD stock since the merger between AT&T and Discovery in terms of putting that Warner Media asset together with Discovery. Obviously, the stock is down 50% or so. Like, I don't think merging is not the answer here, even if it can clear regulatory. The real answer is let's take a dramatically different course in how we approach streaming. And let's focus on going back to what these companies are best at, which is making great content. Whether it's HBO, Warner Brothers, make great content. Stop trying to be a platform. I don't think that's what these companies. Paramount Plus was a bad idea. Let's just call it what it is. It was a bad idea, and it's not working.